Khurumjari, Manung Hutna yengbiriba punamakpo ahamamaktada Kishore Chandra Wangkhem chana taram okchari. Manung Hutna a 360-degree analysis of news and eventa ngasi ekhoina akhanana khanagadoriba si ngarangdagi hauna numi humni chathagadaba the first Northeast Indigenous Peoples Parliament ta saruk yaba lakliba koigi awang nopokta leiriba chawrakna koigi Indigenous people 30 kuntra mukna saruk yaduna pangthok liba sigulamba parliament As is the Kari Kanari Bage, Hariba Parliament, Pakto Pigi Tangai Padamano Carino, Hariba Parliament, Purakado Pandamasi Carino, Habigi Matang, Duda, Queen, Canan, and Nabigi Motagasi. I quit Dr. Links in the labor guessing Samutang Hanai. Introduction Tozige. First, I have on the extreme right, Jalendra Ryang, delegate from Tripura. Tripura, welcome to the show. Next, thank you. Next, I give Payada Labiri Basina, Sunanta Jamatia, delegate. Tripuri People's Front Tekini. Welcome to the solution.
Yeah, thank you.
I hek write the links in Biri Basina. Advocate Erwin Siam Sutgani, Haribasi, Jantia Community Delegate Meghalaya Degi Lakpibani. Welcome to the solution.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. First, sir, my question is to you. What is the urgency? What is the need of such a parliament for the indigenous people of Northeast?
You see, the problems of the Northeast are in fact the inability of the tribes and the indigenous people to come under one platform because we have many common issues.
Okay.
The chief among these issues are protection of our unique identities, protection of our land, customs and cultures, our traditional institutions, amongst others.
Okay.
So when Mr. Lancha, who's the coordinator for this first Northeast Indigenous Peoples Parliament, he came to Shillong. You see, he took so much effort to come and meet all of us.
Okay.
In fact, he went to Tripura to meet my colleagues here, and he, after facing a lot of problems, you see, his car broke down in bad roads. Sometimes he had to miss lunch, dinner and sleep. He took so much initiative. And when I met him in Shillong, when we discussed the issues, see, because I'm totally involved in the cause of my people.
Okay.
I have practically devoted the whole of my life to this. Immediately when he brought out this issue and we started discussing, I realized that the time has come when, especially in the 21st century, the tribes of Northeast as well as the indigenous people, we have to come under one platform. Because as long as we remain fragmented, as long as we remain, divided, we are not going to come to a solution.
Okay.
Because as you are well aware, our relationship with India is based on, take the instance of Khasi and Jainti Hills, as well as Manipur and Tripura. Our forebearers signed an instrument of accession. In the case of Manipur, we will not go into the question of how it was signed, but instrument of merger was signed, Tripura same. In our case, there was never any instrument of merger. But since this relationship with India is a viable relationship, we want to find solutions within the umbrella of the Constitution.
Okay. All right. So the urgency is because we need to open up our eye and then, do something to protect our land, our identity, our culture. That is the most important thing that we are looking at right now. All right. So I just want to come to you, Jalendra. What sort of difficulties, what sort of problem, what sort of issues you face among your community?
My community that lives in Tripura as well as in Mizoram.
Mizoram, yes.
So it is during the past history, the beginning of the time, from the historical analyzer and the other archaeological studies, it has been found out that Bru people has been living in Tripura and residing in Tripura. The historical analyzer says that Bru people is migrating from South Korea or North Korea in the beginning of the time. So after they have migrated and they came and settled down there in the part of Tripura, after that the Deburma king has become a king and they rule over the Bruce also. But unfortunately, after lots of chaos and misunderstanding and after lots of fighting between them, differentiating between them, some part of the Bru has left Tripura and they have traveled back in Mizoram.
Okay.
But as we all know that during 1998 or before or after 1998, there is a big issues between the Mizo people and the Bru people. So Bru has become now immigrants people in Tripura also. But the government are not taking any initiative to take care of all those immigrant peoples, to give them a settlement, proper water system, proper schooling, or otherwise proper road system, proper lights, even proper housing. Not even a livelihood is given by the government. But unfortunately, the government says that they have given all these opportunities to them, but in reality, it is all.
It is not there at all.
It's not there. So it seems like the politician always build a bridge where there is no river.
Okay. All right. That's a very good point that you brought out. Still, words are being said, promises have been made by the higher ups, but yes, nothing is there on the ground. Okay. Yes, we often talked about Tripuri as the most endangered community in the northeast. This is not a new thing. So, can you put us some light on how threatened is the Tripuri community right now?
At present, in Tripura situation is like that. The independent Tripura merger on to India on October 15, 1949, with a great hope of better security, tranquility, peace of prosperity in life. But this hope became fortress lately. The result of this heartfelt hope of just opportunity, the way of the refugee and the illegal immigration from East while East Pakistan at present Bangladeshi make the life of aborigines, Baroque people in mishables, resolves regional party decides their violence against these accidents, but later side tracks from the main issue and demand, since that scenarios Tripura people from TPF had to come 13th June 2014 into existence to protect the land and her aborigines, natives people. Our main motto is to get relief from the 65 years of overload burden that we have been bearing on our shoulders, which come from the Israel, East Pakistan and present Bangladesh, the illegal immigration and refugee immediately.
Okay, so there is a threat from the external agency. Sir, I just want to know, you mentioned about protection of land and identity and our culture, but from whom?
See, if I may add to Tripura's case, in 1949, at the point of merger, the tribal population, the indigenous tribal population of Tripura was about 91%. Today, the latest figures are, it's hovering between 29 and 31.
Okay.
You see, the problem in Tripura is a problem of, how shall I put it, of maybe ultimately it's the real problem is ethnic domination. You see, because I've come to learn that there is also a reward posted for non-tribals, maybe illegal immigrants or maybe genuine residents.
Okay.
If they get married to tribal girls, they're given 2 lakh rupees.
Okay.
So you see, the assailing, the forces working against the survival of the indigenous tribes of Tripura, despite the fact that they have got an autonomous district council under the 6th schedule.
Okay.
See why? You see, the provisions of the 6th schedule are very specific in terms of para 3, 1A, in terms of land.
Okay.
But the main problem is that this is not clear.
Okay.
You see, it talks about allotment, it talks about use, setting aside, but it does not talk about transfer. And the Supreme Court, in one of the rulings, Sitiman Sawian versus Khasi Autonomous District Council, it has said that the district councils have no power over transfer. This is a lacuna that is affecting us.
Okay.
You see, in Meghalaya, the people own the land. The government owns about 2% maybe, not more than that. If the government requires land, it has to take the land, it has to buy the land from the people. So now, if you go through the scheme of the constitution, you see, there is no specific mention of the indigenous people's rights. Tribals are put into the category of the 5th schedule for states, for areas outside Tripura, Meghalaya, Mizoram, and Assam. For these areas, they have the 6th schedule. Now, the point is that, you see, in this neoliberal economy that has developed, you see, the point is that sometimes we get submerged in this, in this consumer economy.
Yeah.
So what happens is, ultimately, you see, tribal land is being encroached upon, is being taken away. And ultimately what happens is the stakeholders, they generally get uprooted from their lands. This is one issue that is not clear in the Constitution. The second aspect is, you see, the states. If you take, for instance, Nagaland, it has the protection of 371A. Mizoram has 371G. And even for Manipur, there is provision under 371, but what I've been told is that this has not really been activated. There is also the question of indigenous people who have not been classified as scheduled tribes, just as the Métis are. You see, the problem which emerges from that is that now you do not really have a protection of your culture, of your cultural systems, of your judicial systems, as we have under the 6th schedule.
Okay.
Now, when you are with the other people of India, you are non-tribals. But in fact, you are not.
Yes.
So this is where the forum of the indigenous parliament, we will try to prevail upon the government of India to look into these issues.
Okay.
See, because I feel that through negotiation, through discussion, we may be able to solve this internecine tribal rivalry and competition, which is not serving the whole interests of the Northeast.
Of the Northeast people, yes. Sir Sophia has mentioned about the sixth schedule, which is, of course, implemented in almost all the Northeastern region.
4 states.
4 states, yes. Manipur, excepting Manipur, yes. Now, the question is, when we talk about the community, we always talk about the progress, the development. But here we are talking about the challenges and the survival. The main topic that we discussed in the parliament yesterday was challenges and the survival of each tribe. So now we're turning into the survival rather than the development and the progress.
Okay.
So how serious is this, and how important is this topic, the survival of each tribe?
The survival of each tribe is very much important as we look into even the historical part or the present part or the coming future. Because if there is no existence of us, or if there is no question of being into the place where we are born and as known as son of the soil, we will not be getting anything what is belong to us, any things that belongs to us. Let it be old forts, let it be any remainings. So the question of survival comes in that manner. When the other influx people or the immigrants people that has come and overrule our people, and we don't have anything that is our own, For example, this is a copy. This is a indigenous things of us. So when this is when the influx people came to know about this, they will copy these things and they will use it for their materializing the market wall.
Okay.
So we don't have our own things to show that we should be proud of. So that is why it is very much question of survival, I guess, in this manner. Until and unless we don't have anything, we are very much normal-minded people, but unfortunately the other outer world or the influx people may be very globalized-minded. So whatever they say, we feel that is right because we don't have a good education system in our state. That is why our students are always going outside for a further education. So at first, what I want to say is that we need to have a good education system and look in corner of each part of the Northeast. Until and unless we will be always, played like football or I don't know what should I use in this manner.
Okay, so the question of survival is very important because we are facing the threat from every corner. That is the point. Okay, we'll take a short break here. We'll continue the discussion after the break. Matang sa koi break lau koi na husi pauda nainari basi notice the lady ba koi ki yellow mi sing si mapan dagi lakpa mitop sing na koi ki sakchu koi ki leisure ba identity koi ki leisure ba culture sing si mahal pa ya ba gi achoba mi pai ba madi leire hai basi madi koi ki ngasi ki guest sing na phongdo piri madu hari ba mi pai basi kamai na ko pa ya ge koi marakta kari porok kari yasin ba porok kari gyan tam na ba poraga kamai na basi ngak to pangam ga ge de ha bi makha tarung khana jaki ge matang sa koi break lau ge break matu na mu taram na okchegi break matung da muk manung hunna da taram okchari ngasi khoina khana zari ba si northeast ta wano puta lai ba yellow mi sing sina thengnari ba ngasi gi mi pai ba sing si karino hari mi pai ba sing si kara ri lai bano aduga hari mi pai ba sing si kamaina khoi mayam punsalaga yellow mi sing si punsalaga masi kamaina thengna ba ngam ga da ge habidu gi wakalona du puthok lumina ba gi wakalon da khoina masi gi keno si manung hunna ba si pangthu chabani sir I just want to come to you sir you mentioned about the internal conflicts among the people, indigenous people of Northeast, or among the tribals. Now, the first and foremost, objective of conducting or organizing such a parliament is to strike out those differences. Now, I just want to know what are the differences and what are the measures that we are going to take up to strike those differences out.
You see, my analysis of the situation is that we are suffering from a colonial hangover.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because adaptation to a modern system requires time, it requires conditioning of the mindset. And so when you thrust a developing society into that scenario, naturally the conditions of competition sets in.
Okay.
But the competition that sets in is at times very vindictive. You see, instead of looking towards the goals, we get bogged down in the arguments. You see, most of the time we spend more time on solving problems which are of our own makings than addressing the issues which are common. Now, genuine problems are being faced by all the tribes. No doubt about it. Even inter-tribal rivalries, I feel that if we go on a path of negotiation and discussion, we can sort these out. I'm an optimist. The only thing is, we have to have a flexibility of approach.
Okay.
Whether from the parliament or from the tribes who are involved.
Okay.
You see, positive developments have developed. Whether all the like our Naga friends, our Naga brothers and sisters, whether they are happy or not with what has been signed, the pact that has been signed by the NSC and IM.
Yes.
The point is that a beginning has been made. And on that beginning, they are at a more advantageous position than we are. You see, their beginning starts now. We're already bogged down in the remnants of the past, in the hangovers of the colonial days, we have to start again from A.
That's great. The scratch, yes.
See, so now we could benefit a lot, you see, from what they have done. Because on the day that this accord was signed, I was in Shillong. As soon as I saw Prime Minister Modi coming out to announce that I have something important to say, it immediately struck me that I think it is the Naga Accord. And I was so happy to see Mr. Muiva, come up on the stage and Prime Minister Modi saying that, look, we've come to a solution.
Okay, something has been started.
Something has been started.
Well, if there is a start, if there is a beginning, there will be an end. That is optimism that we have at the moment. Yes. Now, I just want to come to you, Jalendra. Well, we also do understand and heard about the problems that you have with other neighboring communities. So, what do you suggest? How you can strike those differences out and then start the peaceful coexistence? What do you suggest, or what do you think should be the solution?
What I want to say is that the linguistic differences and the eating differences or the living style differences are not so many between the northeastern states.
Yes.
As we all know that what we call tui is a water in a same water as in Mizos or other languages, whichever we come to across. So whenever we speak a dialogue or we speak anything what we like, if we communicate nicely and very much in a proper manner to other ethnic groups, the linguistic difference may not be so much different like that is different with Hindi or Bengalis or other the national languages. So instead of fighting among us, or instead of making misunderstanding between the ethnic groups, if our language is same, if our face are same, if our eating habits are same, and if our ways of living are same, so why should we have a lot of difference between us? So instead of creating difference between us, let us create a compact society or a united society, and we can create something new out of that, and we can have a big force or a big unity between each of the community, between the states, even in Manipur, in Tripura, as well as in Meghalaya, in Nagaland, or in Mizoram, where over the all 8 sisters, so that people can come together unitedly. We may share our culture, rich heritage, and whatever that is belonging us, so that it may be for the better good of the people, as well as for the better understanding for the coming future.
Okay, so yes, very good point that you have made. If we are to build a bridge among the ethnic groups residing in Northeast, we need to go back to the commonalities that we have, the common thing that we share. Once we understand the common thing that we share historically or culturally or identically, then probably there will be a way out to bring the indigenous people under one umbrella. Okay, so
may I
yes.
add to this? You see, in fact, the discussion of the parliament is not limited only to survival.
Okay.
Today we have discussed the Look East policy, which Prime Minister Modi has termed as Act East policy.
Act East policy, yes.
We have discussed the use of natural resources, our rights over it. We have discussed population and identity. You see, a consensus has emerged that, in fact, the states of the Northeast, the political leadership of the Northeast, they should come together irrespective of party affiliations. You see, because ultimately, when you look at the analysis of the Act East policy, the thrust is towards the ASEAN countries.
Yes.
Now, in order for us to take advantage of that, our people have to be prepared for,
yes.
The groundwork has to be prepared. Unless we have a forum of let us say, maybe the chief ministers of the Northeast, the chief executive members of the autonomous test councils, they come under one forum to discuss the strategy. See, because you cannot just say industrialization and you industrialize. You cannot. We have to adapt our people to the changing needs, especially with the skill sets that they have. You see, forestry is an area where our Northeast people, they understand the value of forests. They have lived with forests for thousands of years.
So are you saying that if we are not prepared, the people of Northeast are not prepared, then this Act East policy will be a negative to the people
Naturally.
Okay.
You see, with development and with the developing economy and and the inputs, the economic inputs that come in, you see, the accompanying dangers also come.
Okay.
So the point is this, because the economy, once you start it, you cannot stop it. It'll keep on rolling. And in order to roll, it becomes a beast by itself, na? That it has to feed itself. So it'll draw on all the channels that it can draw on. It doesn't care who is a tribal and who's not a tribal, who's an indigenous and who's not an indigenous. The point is that ultimately, in order for us to be able to control this change, we have to have a preparation of the people. Okay. And the preparation has to be done at levels in which they understand. For this, the political leadership has to meet, decide on a strategy.
Okay. That's a very good point. Yes, if we are not ready to accept the activist policy being implemented by the Indian government, then of course we will be in more danger than we are facing right now. That's what you want to point out. I just want to come to you, Jalin, once again, that how much will this kind of parliament help in bringing the unity among the people of the Northeast, especially the indigenous people of the Northeast?
Well, as the parliament is taking place since 10th, now today is 11th, tomorrow is the last session
Final
of
day,
the
yes.
parliament. According to my according to my view and according to how I observe in the parliament, I feel that this parliament will work according to how it is, or in a very organized way. But though there may be some you say chaos, or not the proper word, but there may be some little loopholes between the making of the egg, or other ways between the understanding of the proper ethnic groups or different ethnic groups. But we have to make the parliament in such a way that all the indigenous group can take part here in this parliament. Though in this the last session, some of the indigenous people, or maximum of the indigenous people, are unable to turn up due to their own work purposes or due to their own curriculum activities. But we hope that in the near future, we hope and we welcome all the indigenous people who are unable to attend at this first indigenous people's parliament.
Yes.
Next time when it will take place, we will this will be notified accordingly, and if all the other Northeast indigenous people will be able to come at that time, then it will be very much comfortable or suitable for the organizing party, or for the organizer to host or to make a very much flexible act or rules or regulation or any kind of statement to be known by all the indigenous people.
Okay, so yes, what we are looking at is the inclusive participation by all the stakeholders. That is much needed. But having said that, of course, things that we have seen in this first Northeast Indigenous Peoples Parliament, it is a step towards the positive thing that we are looking at. Now, what sort of resolution are we going to take on the last day of the session? What are we looking at?
You see, this is where the continuance of the parliament as a permanent institution, it is no doubt an uphill task. The point is that I feel that we have a team which is committed.
Okay.
You see, because what I feel is that people have a lot of good in them. And what is positive, they'll accept it. They'll even try to accommodate it. But it also depends on us that we give our sincere effort. See, from my end, I have made a commitment that I will spare as much time as I can to devote myself to this, because we are going to create a working committee. And this working committee will work out the modalities of the recommendations, the resolutions, follow it up with the respective authorities, report back to the tribes and the indigenous people. But more than that, you see, we require inputs. How will we understand the problems if nobody talks? See, I believe that 90% of the problems can be solved by us sitting across. 10% we can work out by finding the common issues. You see, and maybe 5% we have to keep for failure.
Yes.
But it shouldn't be that we keep 5% in the success rate and 95% failure rate. This is where I would like to appeal to our friends, to our brothers. in the northeast to our fellow tribes that the time has come, I think, that we take a step backwards.
Okay.
You know, instead of I, let's talk about we. See, unless we have that slogan in our heart, we'll not be able to go as we envisage.
Okay.
Because truly, I feel, we are the custodian of this land and our traditions. We are the custodians of our identities for those who are yet unborn.
Okay.
You see, because if we dwell too much on what is the present, without giving a thought to the future and to what we hold in custody for those to come, we are going to destroy this world. And this is also something which I think every one of us should put our heads together, because ultimately, you know, when I go from this world, I want to say at least that I've made an effort. I don't know how much successful we'll be, but at least we have tried.
Okay. At least we have tried, at least we have started something, and we will be able to see some sort of positive outcome of this parliament. And of course, we will be continuing this parliament. That's what Sir Hutna is saying. Now, just a quick viewpoint.
Okay.
You mentioned about the participation by the communities, every community, or indigenous people of Northeast. Do you think we also need to rope in or bring in the respective government of the state?
The government of the states, like let us say in Manipur, Meitei, in Mizoram, Mizos,
Okay.
in Nagaland, Nagas, in Meghalayas, what you say, there is a three
Local tribes,
yeah.
local tribes, and in Sikkim, Sikkim is, but in Tripura, who are the ruling people?
Okay.
I think we all know who are the ruling people. Whenever you get inside Tripura, you have to speak Bengali.
Okay.
So Bengali is not my first language, or it's not my mother tongue. I don't know what is Bengali, though it is for what you say. It is implemented in the as an official language of the state. So it's very hard for the indigenous people of that particular state, Tripura, to survive over there.
Okay.
So what I feel, or what I have observed in my this past few years, or whatever I have done, I feel that the state government, if they come inside this parliament for the state of Tripura, I think there will maybe very much big chaos upon that.
Okay.
But in case of Manipur, or in case of the
Any
rest
other
of the
state, yes.
any other state, I have no idea if the government comes in and take cares about that. But it is very necessary for the government to also take steps in this kind of moment, so that we can move together, because government is one of the source that can change and that can develop the society, or that can give the right moment or the right platform for the people, or for the indigenous people, or for the mainland people.
Okay, so Jalendra has his reservation of bringing in the current Tripura government. But what about you? What do you think, Sir Hutna? Should there be some sort of a responsibility? Should there be some sort of a role from the respective government of the states?
See, the role of the state governments is very vital. But like I said, it should be on a separate forum.
Okay.
You see, the parliament can act as in an advisory capacity, whatever inputs, whatever mobilization that we can do. But in the case of Tripura, you see, they have a serious question, a serious problem. See, over there is also this tool which is being used called Swasti land, where immigrants from Bangladesh, they claim the land on the basis of a document purportedly signed by the Maharani of Tripura. And on the basis of this, they keep on claiming tribal land. I have not really gone into the legal issues of this, because I have not seen the document also. I have asked them to provide me with the document. I will apply my mind to the same. But the point is this, you see, the government of Tripura is a constitutional government of India, created under Article 1 and Schedule 1 of the Constitution of India. Now, the constitutional duty of the Chief Minister and his colleagues, as well as the bureaucracy, is to see that the interests of the tribal people is maintained,
Okay.
irrespective of the politics, irrespective of whatever forces.
Yes.
The point also is there that there are always legal recourse. These are all that you see we will be exploring. Because it's not that we're just sitting as a parliament and as a mock parliament and we're just, speaking out what is in our hearts. We are coming up with a concrete strategy. And this concrete strategy will be employed.
Okay.
So because of this, we really require, you see, that the governments of the Northeast, let us say maybe Tripura will have to consider,
Yeah.
but the governments of the Northeast, they have to really seriously take up this issue, because unless they come together,
They should have the same nerves that the people of each state are, going through right now. Well, that is a very good viewpoint, of course. Not in the same parliament, but yes, there has to be some different form of the government's agencies so that they can also act, on their own capacity to, bring the common issues to the understanding, platform and then to work out things that we can. Well, according to yes, yes, no awang no pok lay dam da lay ba chawrak na akoi na khangje ba sum yellow mi si chani muk lay yellow kui kanglup si chani muk lay hai ri ba sing si da lay ba common mai lay ba issues me am si bhab ta min raga lay nari ba hai me am si koi bhab ta min matung da kari apun ba koi wakalon ma sagalaga punna khongjang ma changsan min raga sigumba koi gi yellow mi si mang ki do badagi kal hono na bagi haujik ta gi hauna koi act is policy na lakarga di head khudong tinya oigani habasi sar sutna su thambi ni aduna di haujite hona kari ta horaga di masi kadai boda koina ngakthuk sabang ngam gadagi habadu parliament asina ahan ba session ni adu yes tungda lakadwa topa parliament singda hariba platform si amona hena mapangan kan khalalaga akoi amata oina leminagani habu wakan ni thambi si. Thank you so much guys for joining us and of course sharing your opinions and then bringing out your measures and then putting very important, issues forward and then, appealing to the people of all the Northeast to come together in this platform and then to strive for common issues and common destinations. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Jalendra. Thank you, Sir Sunanta Jamatia, and thank you, Sir Sutna, for your time.
thank you to you also.
Thank you.
Atang sa ngasi gyud na di manung kuno do sinjari yang bi yang bi na puno magte gisu kana na biya tingni sari kurum jari.